Hey people, it's nice talking. Now, this is from The Guardian. UK firm to turn moon rock into oxygen and building materials. Technology seen as a vital component in preparation to establish permanent lunar base. When the astronauts return to the moon in the next decade, they will do more with the dust and leave footprints in it. A British firm has won a European Space Agency contract to develop technology to turn the moon dust and rocks into oxygen, leaving behind aluminium, iron, and other metal powders for lunar construction workers to build with. If the process can be made to work well enough, it will pave the way for extraction facilities on the moon that make oxygen and valuable materials on the surface rather than having to haul them into space at enormous cost. Anything you take from the Earth to the moon is an added weight that you don't want to carry. So if you can make these materials in situ, it saves a lot of time, effort, and money, said Ian Miller, the managing director of Metalysis, which is based in Sheffield. Analysis of rocks brought from the moon revealed that oxygen makes about 45% of the material by weight. The remainder is largely iron, aluminium, and silicate. In work published this year, scientists at Metalysis and the University of Glasgow found they could extract 96% of the oxygen from simulated lunar soil, leaving useful metal alloy powders behind. NASA and other space agencies are in advanced preparations to return to the moon, this time to establish a permanent lunar base or moon village, where nations will operate alongside private companies on critical technologies such as life support, habitat construction, energy generation, and food and material production. The ESA contract will fund Metalysis for 9 months to perform an electrochemical process that releases oxygen from lunar dust and rocks by sending electric current through the material. The process is already used on Earth, but the oxygen is released as an unwanted byproduct of mineral extraction. To make it work for lunar explorers, the oxygen must be captured and stored. Under the contract, the firm will try to boost the yield and purity of oxygen and metals from the rock while reducing the amount of energy the process consumes. If the technology looks promising, the next step will be to demonstrate oxygen extraction on the moon. The oxygen released from the lunar surface can be combined with other gases to produce breathable air, but is also a vital component of rocket propellant that could be manufactured on the moon and used to fuel spacecraft bound for deep space. If you want to go further out into space, it's a gas station on the moon, essentially to get into deeper space, said Miller. Mark Symes, who works on the process at the University of Glasgow, said moon rock represents an enormous potential source of oxygen to support human exploration of Earth's satellite and the wider solar system. Oxygen is useful not only for astronauts to breathe, but also as an oxidizer in rocket propulsion systems, he said. There is no free oxygen on the moon, so astronauts will have to take all their own oxygen with them to the moon for life support and to enable their return journeys, and this adds considerably to the weight and hence expense of rocket launches bound for the moon. Sue Horn, the head of space exploration at the UK Space Agency, said, in the future, if you want to travel expensively in space and set up bases on the moon and Mars, then you will need to make or find the things required to support life, food, water, and breathable air. For more than 4 decades, human exploration has been restricted to missions to the International Space Station, an orbiting outpost about 220 miles above the Earth. The focus over the coming years will be the construction of a new station in orbit around the moon that will act as a stopping-off point for humans to establish a presence on the lunar surface and potentially as a base from which to launch outward to Mars. The Lunar Gateway program has itself set the ambitious goal of returning humans to the moon as early as 2024, with crews transported above NASA's Orion spacecraft. The rocket is expected to make its first uncrewed flight next year. ESA has provided power and propulsion units for the first Orion flight and has agreed contracts to build the main crew module for the lunar station. I hope you enjoyed this article. I'm going to leave it in the description so you can read it. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to support this channel, leave my GoFundMe description. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll leave that there as well. And if you want to check out the t-shirts I'm now selling, I'll leave that link there as well. Peace.